But I believe that by overwhelming majority, you and I, in the long run, and if it be necessary, you and I will act together to protect, to defend, by every means at our command.
So I hadn't heard of the Vehm before. I found them from an old episode of the Blacklist. So if any of you have watched the Blacklist, it's basically about a guy, Red Reddington, a former naval intelligence, who goes rogue, turns himself in, basically to push an agenda on a day, a lady Elizabeth Keene's first day. So that's the premise of the show, and they go after what they call criminals on his blacklist, basically to put, to get people out of the way for him, basically. And in episode 12 of season 3, this is when I was seeing about the Vehm, and people being turned up, tortured. And you can see a few images on the screen. There's not very much on this that you can find through the show. And basically, and here is one of the Vehm now, he was a eunuch. So in the show, they were eunuchs, and they were basically falsely lied by the church, by this guy you're seeing on the screen, to kill people who were money laundering, basically. So they were used. It was the church's agenda or his own personal agenda to kill these people. They've even appeared in Eyes Wide Shut, I believe. And it's just my interpretation that I believe it's still going on today. And when you see certain celebrities or people around the world turning up with mysterious deaths, I believe the Vehm are basically employed to carry out the will, and that's just my own personal opinion. Let's dig a little deeper. The order contained all classes of society, from the commoner, the common freeman, to lords and bishops. Only one rule, a bit like Fight Club: you had to be of pure blood and good character, then you could serve the Vehm. When you joined, you would be known as Schoffen or Schofan, the ignorant. And what's intriguing about that wording, today in Germany, a lay jurist or assessor, or assigned primarily to a lower criminal court to make decisions both on points of law and on fact jointly with professional jurists, are called Schofer, basically that without the N. And here's an image of initiation for the Vehm. And in the initiation ritual, the Schofen kneeled before the tribunal and swore an oath of allegiance of or of service to the Vehm. They promised to guard the secrets of the order and to never warn any accused that the order was looking for them, even if the accused was part of their own family. A sword would be ran along the throat, slightly cutting the skin to draw blood and show what would happen if they ever revealed the secrets of the order. They were then given the secret password and identification and a rope and a knife upon which were the letters SSGG, Stock, Stein, Grass, Grind, meaning stick, stone, grass, tears. And it's just basically an image. It's intriguing, isn't it, in a macabre sort of way. You do think, yeah, we do need this type of thing because there's a lot of evil out there, but like anything, it gets polluted. So, the penalty for a member to reveal any secrets of the Holy Vehm, their eyes would be ripped from their skulls and their tongues torn out from the back of their throat. Their body then would be left to hang 7 times higher than a normal criminal. If a Schofen was deemed worthy, they would advance into the ranks, such as Frohbatten, meaning bailiff, executioners, Freischofen, deputy judges, and Stuhlren, judges who elected a president, Freigraf, free court, a position chosen for life. In the early days of the Holy Vehm, the punishment dished out was basically mild. The accused could swear an oath to God on the cross and kiss the skull, then leave a coin at the feet of the court and basically walk free. This practice was soon done away with, and obviously they went full boil, as I say. What you are seeing on screen now is basically a summons, and it was a summons to appear in front of the Holy Vehm secret court. Now, it used to be nailed to the door of the accused residence. Now, if they had no residence, numerous summons basically would be nailed to places they were known to pass by. Once the summoned, you had 3 chances to voluntarily appear in front of the court. Now, each chance was 6 weeks and 3 days apart. An old Saxon tradition, that is. Most people didn't go voluntarily, obviously, as the secret courts were known for one punishment and one punishment only. Basic for any crime, it was death. Now, if the accused tried to escape during any of these weeks, that the Schofen would be sent to track them down and immediately hang them. Now, the Schofen would not take anything from the body and would leave their calling card, basically the knife, the sword, with SSGG marked underneath the body. It was just left underneath the body, so anyone finding it would know it wasn't a common murder. So I just want to read this out. It's an old article I found, and it's interesting. It's basically talking about some of the stuff I said already, but it just gives you a flavour of what this video is about and this holy order, the Vehm. So a dread tribunal, the Vehmic. Now Gericht means court or justice. So here we go. So this mysterious order was established in the Middle Ages throughout Germany. Its members numbered several thousands of all ranks and conditions, who were free and honourable men. Solemn and awful oaths bound them to absolute secrecy, and communication was effected by signs only known to the initiated. So far they were much the same as any other secret orders, but their peculiar operation was to administer judgment in those rude and barbarous days. Any king, prince, peer or peasant might be summoned to attend the conclave, and woe be to him did he refuse to obey. Beneath the surface of the ground in dimly lighted caverns. They also did outside, and I'm going to show you some of them now. But basically this is painting, a flavour to give you the actual feeling of it. So beneath the surface of the ground in dimly lighted caverns, the judges with masked faces took their seats. The other officials likewise, masks surrounded them. If the accused person was present, he was adjudged, sentenced, and if necessary executed on the spot. If he failed to appear after the 3 citations that I've talked about so far, he was sentenced to death, and each member of the court was bound to pursue him to the bitter end of Deum. He may be a brother or a father, but none dare warn him of his impending fate. He had deified the Vehmic, but he must perforce die, sometimes in his own house. As proof he was not a victim to the lawless violence, his property was never touched, and a knife was planted near him under in the ground. Here's an example. Charles, Duke of Burgundy, was cited 3 times just before his death and failed to appear. An English noble found his bed sinking through the floor of his hotel into the earth, and he himself bound and held for judgment. Of course, his landlord was a member of the order. And however irregular this cause, it helped justice in those cruel days, when might was right and men were serfs. Other courts were slow, uncertain, and difficult of access. This was silent, swift, and terrible. It struck once and had no need to strike again. Escape from its meshes were impossible. The most cunning hider was tracked down in his absence and distant retreat. And strange though it may seem, its legal authority as a court of the Holy Roman Empire was extended until its downfall of what the empire was in 1806. It continued, and here is the wow, because it ties in with the one big wow, and I'm going to show you that at the end, so you'd have to just hold with me. So until the downfall of that empire in 1806, it continued to exist in Westphalia, Germany, until 1811. Let's add them. 8 add 1 is 9, add another 1 is 10, add another is 11. It adds to 11. What could that possibly mean? And when I get to this point, guys, you'll be mind blown, and it's a slam dunk. Anyway, so the last bit. Then the last mysterious shadows of the Vehmic died utterly away. So this is just showing you an article showing you how, if no one turned up, everyone was bound to search for them from the court. You can imagine the fear in you knowing that the Holy Vehm were hunting you. It was shocking. But in these times, when it showed you, when the times was barbaric, people had no justice, and these give out justice. In the early days, as I've read out, it used to be basically you paid a fine, and then it got really barbaric, hangings and punishment of basically you were, oh god, anything they could do to you, they used to do. But again, like any human is involved, the corruptness come into it, and that's when it changed. Right, guys, so to carry on what we were just talking about from that article, I believe, according to research, that Napoleon Bonaparte's brother was one who helped to disband the Holy Vehm. His name is Jerome Bonaparte, and when he was linked or a leader in Westphalia, Germany, he was the one obviously who helped to get rid of them. So paint the picture now. This is an actual location, I believe, for a Holy Vehm tribunal. So paint the picture. You're here in the dead of night with masked men in cloaks or whatever they were wearing at the time, dragging you to this location. All the only light was the moon, or torches in the ground, flames, smoke, an eerie location in the woods, total secrecy. So you picture you get into the bottom of the stairs and you're slowly being dragged up. That would have been one hell of a fright, knowing that in very, very rare circumstances you would be surviving this. So it's crazy, isn't it? So you're walking along, you come into it, you're being dragged up the stairs to be greeted by the judges, again cloaked, hiding their faces, sitting around this. It looks like an altar, a sacrifice. And what would be there? But what I was talking about before, a cross and also a skull. This is what's known as the oath skull. And this was going up for an auction a few years ago, and you can actually just see it on the screen now. So this is what the so-called person being accused would have to touch and kiss to prove his innocence, and it's an eerie thing to do. On top of it, it had obviously IRNI, we all know what that is, so it's crazy. Here's another example of a different type of oath skull, but again similar type of engraving on top, and this is what the accused would have had to kiss before the start of the trial. This would have been an horrific event for the accused, and we all, like I've said, mentioned it before, yes, we do like this type of justice when no one seems to have our back. People take the law into their own hands, but what we're talking about now is when did it cross the line from being justified to what we know going on today. Basically these people have an agenda and getting rid of people at whim. But you know what I mean, in essence, at heart, when we don't look like we're having any justice, these things will gain in popularity. And this is what a person would have had to kiss. An event that happened, he'd have been dragged up, or some talk about in caves. It would have been an horrific event, scary, which then fueled into the name, the Holy Vehm. People would have been so scared. They didn't, when a body was found, if it was hung, no one would dare touch it, and it would just hang until it basically rotted, basically. So you're getting a flavour now, and I'm going to finish off with a little bit more before I go into the wow that I found. So we just did, basically painted a scenario of being drug or dragged, whatever way you want to put it, in front of the tribunal, the Holy Vehm. But they did a few other things. One of them was trial by iron. Now, what that entails is the accused, or the innocent, or guilty, whatever way you want to look at it, had to basically have a trial by iron, and the accused had to first wash his hands in water while a bar of iron was heated up until it glowed red. The accused then had to grab hold of the glowing metal with his bare hands and walk 9 paces. If the accused could accomplish this without getting burned, he was innocent. Of course, no one passed this trial, so the accused underwent torture in order to be declared guilty, no matter what the actual truth was. So that's trial by iron. Also, you got stuff like false witnesses. They weren't spared. So as soon as the Vehm decided the person was guilty, there would be no innocence for the accused. In the rare event when a friend or witness for the accused would be brave enough to stand up and speak on their behalf, it never ended well. The accused would be found guilty, and the person defending the accused would be hung for lying to the Holy Vehm. An even rarer event was when the Vehm could not agree on whether the accused was guilty or innocent. In this case, the accused would still be hung, as to protect the secrecy of the Vehm. So you're in a no-win situation. You're innocent, and you just, but yay, I'm sorry, but you have to get hung to protect the secrecy of the Vehm. So obviously they enjoy punishment and torture. The Vehm took pleasure in causing as much pain to their victims that was humanly possible. For something minor, they would basically break the legs of the accused. For minor crimes such as sacrilege or arbitrary eccentricity, the punishment was incredibly incredibly severe. The accused, whether guilty or not, were taken to the torture chamber to be slowly killed in some awful way. On other occasions, the accused would merely be strung up by a tree. One notable way the Vehm enjoyed tormenting and killing their victim was the use of the spiked casket. Not surprisingly, and this is what this information says, the Vehm are the ones who invented this device to cause as much terror and pain in the victims as possible. The Vehm knew that they could rule over the people through fear alone. So what else you also had was Vogelfrei or Vogelfrei. Now this is believed that in some cases those who were sentenced to death had a choice between torture and something called Vogelfrei, meaning free as a bird. Basically this is like human hunting, or if some of you are old enough, I'm not stating my age, remember the film Running Man. Convicts used as hunting for sport but also for views. It's basically that. So if the victim chose Vogelfrei or Vogelfrei, he was let go from the restraints and given a head start. After the initial head start, the Vehm would have free to literally hunt the accused down like an animal. It is unknown how often this punishment was chosen by the victims, but it's easy to see how people would prefer to die in a hunt than to be slowly tortured to death in one of the Vehm chambers. At least in the hunt, the victim had a small amount of hope to possibly escape the Vehm's wrath. And you weren't safe really among common people. They had spies. The Vehm had their own secret informants called feminotes, and these informants were strategically placed to keep watch over the common people. What happened to watching all people? See, this is the change. If anything suspicious would happen, or if there was a rumour about someone, the feminotes would contact the Vehm. The Vehm would then arrive and block off the exits from the town to make sure no one escaped. The feminotes would mingle unknown among the common people. They would pull them into conversations and try to learn all the rumours being spread throughout the town. This way they could weed out anyone deemed guilty of any crime, real or religiously based. So, as you know, the decline was basically from 1811, and it was Napoleon's brother who basically disbanded them. But they're not really disbanded, but you know, from mainstream history it is. And what's intriguing is that the further proof that they didn't really disband was the fact that they turned up in World War One, World War Two, and they initiated some of Hitler's and Nazi soldiers to the Vehm. So it just shows you that they didn't really disappear. And what if they actually then so-called disbanded? An offshoot was the basically Skull and Bones. Who knows? I'm just theorising on that last bit, but you can see the significance of this, and it was a big deal. You didn't know who was the spies for them, and no one went against them. You know what I mean? It was only came to the end when they got really powerful, that the church and the Holy Roman Empire, when that ceased to be a thing, it got disbanded. So you can just see the significance and the intrigue about this video, because yes, as I've said, we all want to have justice for the common people, but when people get put in power, it changes them, unfortunately. And this is what happened with this society, that people changed, vendettas and political allegiances were created. And you know, we're not privy to whatever happened, but we know from from being human what happens. People get hungry with power, they get powerful, and they keep knocking people off to further their agenda. So there you go, guys. That's just a little brief. It's not in depth on the Vehm, but what I'm going to show you now is something intriguing about the name, and this is the main wow that I was talking about. So this is not the wow, this is just me seeing this while I was making this video, and I thought, wow, just look at it. So look at this tarot card, and it's called Judgment, and I don't know anything about tarot cards, but just reading some stuff off blind, basically what it's talking about. If it's upright position, it means successful undertaking, new opportunities, problem solving. Reverse position, loss of wealth or illness, weakness, delay, stuff like that. And it also talks about the main meaning of the card: rebirth, renewal, sexuality, health will be good, as well as everything connected with the job, etc. But what my point is there a hidden meaning into it? And I'm talking about the Vehm, because look closely, we're talking about judgment, which these tribunals were. You can agree when you saw this, it's all about tribunals being judged by the Holy Vehm. Holy meaning divine. This is tying into the wow that I want to get to soon. So look at it, they have a trumpet, so they're like an angel. Can you notice what it is on the flag? And this is on most of the judgment tarot cards. It's what people know as the English flag, the Templars flag. But remember, it comes from Genoa, and I've talked about how, and St. George, and how that's connected to a certain god, Janos. And just look at it, it's that flag, it's the Red Cross. And we know that the Holy Vehm, the symbol was the Red Cross. So it's intriguing, and yes, there's no coincidences, I know who say that, but isn't it funny that on the tarot card for judgment is the flag? Is there anything in that, or is it just me doing my usual stretch? I don't know, I'll leave that up to you. I just thought that was just too much to not show you guys and say, oh, wow, isn't that a coincidence? Right guys, so this is what I'm saying is the wow. It's huge to me, and it shows you the significance of the Holy Vehm. And some will call it a stretch. I just see it as what I see it. It's just me thinking out the box, looking at something and saying, wow, look what comes from this. And it totally blew me away. So you have the Holy Vehm in the bottom right corner, Elohim. Now Elohim has so many different names, as you know. It's a broad term, they say, of God's name or divinity or a higher power, hence judgment and that red cross. But I want to look at it totally different, because I saw something on the interwebs. Again, I can't corroborate, I don't speak Hebrew and I don't know this, but this person just made a good point, and it made me think. And that was after me finding what I did. I needed to see, you know what, is there another spelling for it? So as you can see on screen, and at the top you got the Holy Vehm, and then at the bottom you have Elohim, and I've put 11 of him, or 11 of him, basically, not with two hands, but a hymn, a song. I've talked about frequencies. When I did my video, the realm of 11, I said in that, could it be 11 of him from Elohim? And I think I'm onto something. I do, it's just my own personal opinion. But what's the coincidence, or is it that Holy Vehm anagrams into, near enough, into Elohim? Wow, so that blew me away. Some people say, oh no, I don't see it, oh no, it's a stretch, but I don't care. This is just my journey, and when I research things, I show you what I find, whatever, if you agree or disagree. This is huge. We're talking about a secret society. That name translates into Elohim. And as you can see, Holy Vehm, Holyvehm. Now underneath you have the E, obviously from Holy Vehm. So you had E, you had the L-O, which you can see, and then you had H-Y-M, but I've put the extra H in to get them all in. The only word is not in is the V. Now could you have the Holy Elohim with Elohim with the V in it? I've just not put it in, but you're saying one letter off. That to me is 11 of him being Elohim. Now here is an example of someone spelling it different, which is how I spelt it. Obviously I've got an extra H in it, but as you well know, the Holy Vehm basically spelt a few words. There is a Holy Vehm with a V-E-H-M-E. So, you know, it is all different and just perspective. So when you're looking on the screen now, you can just see this Elohim, instead of E-L-O-H-I-M, being spelt with E-L-O-H-Y-M. which is near enough an anagram of the Holy Vehm. Wow. And this person's talking about how Elohim is a mistranslation, and it contains the HYM being both female and masculine. 11 of him. So is that 11 of him, or and this is the intriguing bit, when I do the doorway with the 11, is just the 11 male and female facing each other? The partnership. They're both, as you can see, they're both generic forms of God, both male and female. That to me just blew me away. And again, I don't know this person, and I was just looking, wow, did he spell Elohim with a Y in it, like I've done in my anagram? And I couldn't believe it when I looked, and I thought, well, that's enough. Elohim, does it have is there another maybe translation of Elohim with a Y? And I found it. Elohim, him. But instead of him being male, could him be a song of frequency? They're both male and female, as this person is saying. And some people might find this, I'm just showing you what I found in significance to this holy order called the Vehm, and how I found hidden in their own name, Elohim. To me, that is significant, and that is wow. And this is why these people are judging people in these tribunals, just like the judgment card. They are looking down from a divine aspect, angel with the flag, with the red cross. So is that to me not a wow? And again, something that your flocker, your What the Flock TV Paul has found. I think I'm the only one, but again, how many times I've said that, because we all do think alike. But guys, that is a wow. This is huge. This is significant. That blew me away, and this is the main reason why I wanted to do the video, to show you that the Holy Vehm, a possible anagram of that is Elohim, and I found a different spelling of it. I just get excited when I find things like this, because it opens up a lot more possibilities with other secret societies and things that's hidden within. I mean, look at this. I'm theorising that they're still here today, and I'll get into a lot of this in my thoughts now. But guys, is that not a wow? Holy Vehm anagrams to Elohim, 11 of him is a song, a title, because I've always talked about the frequencies. So 11 frequencies, you know, it's just wow, guys. So here we go, guys, and I'm going to go through my thoughts now.
Yeah, they call me the black sheep. You know they call me the black sheep.
Hello and welcome to What the Flock TV, obviously. So like I always do, I want to thank everyone who has watched my content since the last video. Give it a thumbs up, left a comment. I've tried to get back to as many as I can in time restraints, and also YouTube just don't let me see it, and then I can't reply to it. Just the usual stuff that we all go through. So I want to thank you to all them guys, ladies and gents and flockers, whatever we want to call ourselves. I appreciate you guys. And for anyone that has bought me a coffee, again guys, heart goes out to you guys. You're just helping me in the channel no end, and I mean, you really are helping. So if you want to donate, buy me a coffee, whatever you want to call it, buy me a flocker, it's in the description. So please just go to the description and just follow whatever it says. If not, just like, share and subscribe, and my other people tell people to watch our content, because any help is welcomed. And I do get very emotional, because life's hard, and even harder for everyone. You know, we all have a story. So let me get into this video on the Holy Vehm. Sounds like them, doesn't it? And I will be honest, I found this by accident. I was watching old box sets, and I don't know if you've watched what is known as the Blacklist. I thought, you know what, I'm going to watch that again because it's been a while. I don't think I even finished it. I think I got to series 6 or 7 or something like that, and things happen and we get sidetracked. So I started it off again a few weeks ago, and I got up to this episode and the Holy Vehm. I'm like, wow, I wonder if they're still... That's why I can't read books or watch too much, because I get inspiration from all angles to look into, and it takes my attention. Wow, Holy Vehm, are they still here? Oh, wow, they were real. So they were basing it off a real society of people. And in the programme, basically, if you've not watched it, Red Renton's a formal Navy intelligence, and the premise of the show is he goes rogue, and basically he sets up, he's like a concierge to all the criminals, sorts anything out. And on the first day of the character's name, Elizabeth Keane, he walks into FBI headquarters, gives himself up, and will only speak to this lady. And the intrigue is why the connection to this lady, what is in it for him. And he starts by saying, listen guys, I can help you get hold of criminals that you've never known existed. And that's what's called his Blacklist. Obviously it's to help his agenda, but that's the premise of the show. And in this episode of the Holy Vehm, basically people were turning up, being tortured, the eyes, whatever, they were tortured, and Red Renton says, yeah, blah blah blah, it's the Holy Vehm, they've been brought out to dish out judgment. And it turns out that a priest was letting what they said in the show was the eunuchs in confession, giving them targets to hit. They think they were doing God's work, and they were doing the church or this priest or bishop's agenda to kill people who were money laundering. So basically to gain their end, for their own basically ends. So that intrigued me, and I'm like, straight away, do they exist? Quick search, wow, they do. And more I was reading into it, I thought, wouldn't it be a nice change for you guys to see something different, me do something different, and this is what you get. And there's some correlations with a lot of things, but that major wow that I've just talked about near the end blew me away. So what do you guys think? Do you think I was talking about a stretch in regard to that, or do you think there's something in it? What's your thoughts on the Holy Vehm? Do you think it was a good society? Do you think it was good at the beginning, and obviously the influence of power and other secret societies infiltrating, it changed? Because think about it, there's no one that we know of out there for us. And this time where we're being bombarded from all angles by people who are basically nuts, and also the cabal. We don't know who our friends are. So, you know what I mean? That's why I always say to people, when you find a true friend, and there's not many that you can find, but we do seem to form quick partnerships with people and friendships on the interwebs, because we don't see them in public. And until you meet someone in public, you're not seeing the true them. So it is hard. But I have met some good people, very good people, lost a few good people as well. And that always gets me down. But I am privileged to have met, not in reality, but in spiritual, and also felt like kin. And we should value good friendships and have each other's back. You know what I mean? And this really got to me, because I can see why people in Germany, Westphalia, set up this organisation, this fraternity, because they felt they weren't being listened to by the so-called leaders, the cabal of the time, the monarchy. Because in Germany they had a lot of different kings and queens and dukes and whatnot in charge of each district of Germany. And what happened is people were doing heinous crimes towards people, and basically just going over to the border and not being able to be prosecuted. You know what I mean? So people set up an organisation called the Holy Vehm to get basically power back and create a system where these people, even so-called kings, dukes, had someone that they had to answer to and were in fear of. They had backing from a while from the Holy Roman Emperor. Phone's off again. Oh, I don't know. Why is it wait till I'm always on this? I'll just have to reply. It is my daughter. So I'll put it over there. I have it on vibrate, but for some reason the vibrate's like. So yeah, what do you guys? Do you think there should be a secret society having our backs? And I can see why people would, because when you feel like you have no power, and this is what we're here in the so-called community. I call it the community because I don't believe it exists. I believe there's just pockets of good people. The rest is just infiltration of people that shouldn't be in the community. You know what I mean? Murderers, rapists, you name it. People in it for their own gain. So things like this would have been dealt by the Holy Vehm. People would be dragged after the initial summons, and people knew if they get summoned, you basically going to your death. Now, in the early days, it was basically not what it went into. They weren't looking into the major crimes. It was just basically probably a bit like if you've not paid your supplier, blah blah, pay him, you're gonna get your legs broke basically. And then it went full boil, as I say, with people with power that seem to lose their mind. But I can see it again. Someone's murdered your child, murdered your husband, murdered someone in your family, raped, kidnapped, and like society now, they get away with it. How many influential people have done all those things, and they get worshipped as idols? The Holy Vehm should come back and get rid of them. I can see it. But the point I'm making in this video is, when do they step over the mark? If you believe in fair trial, have a fair trial, not just the sense of, you're guilty straight away and you're dead. And if you were found innocent, you'd probably be dead anyway, because you've been to the Holy Vehm, you might have recognised some voices, and the secrecy had to be upheld. So I really do get it, and I do really get that how people in our situation need teeth, and I mean by that, we need a voice. We need to protect what we hold dear to us, and the cabal and the, as it is in general now, the society, we seem to have no voice, yet everyone else seems to have a voice. So I get it. I get why people want to take the law into their own hands, especially in that time. I mean, has anything really changed? I tell you, probably no. They're probably more out there. These people basically would summon these to the court, the tribunal, and if you didn't turn up, everyone would hunt for you. I do, you know what I mean? I am a quiet person, but I do have a side to me that only comes out when close people get hurt. And people underestimate me all the time. Think, oh, he's so nice and will take the piss. I have a side I will protect. And I don't see the point sometimes of basically, when you see it on social media, people blah 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 to you, and you're the back and forward, and you're there forever. I don't have time for it. I really don't have time. My life is stressful enough, hard enough as it is. I use this to get away and just share anything I find. But I can see the point when some people have had enough, and that's why these were created. People had enough. They created a secret society, a fraternal organisation that basically held people account for what they did, because seems to be no justice, and I get it, I really do. But we have to have a fair trial, or do we? But we that's what I want to get at. Is it a case of, is it just hearsay? Or did you, like, they had the Vehmic, I think they would call them, the spies. Could these people oh, you know what, I don't like him, I'm just going to go to the Holy Vehm and say, these have done this. Do you know what I mean? This ego, the jealousy, what makes us dangerous, because these people were put in position to spy. How are they going to account for it? You know, these people are breaking law. He's been an adulteress. He's murdered. He's done this to their child. He's kidnapped this. He's done this. And the Vehm would come in, you're not going to survive. You get summoned. I can't account for any time anyone's got away with it. So you see my point. It's when humans get involved, we start something, and it's, yes, good intentions, best intentions, and you, like me, my best intention is to create a channel where anyone can come and talk, leave the shit at the door, and just enjoy the content. But other people don't like that, and that's what happened to my channel. People who I respected and made moderators abused their power by blocking people because they weren't friends with other content makers. And that is why I took away all the moderators, in the sense of people can, you know, message me, Paul, this is what they're doing, this and this, but they didn't, they blocked and they lied it. And these people, you know, I would have just left everything as was. I just wanted to know who did it, but no one would. No one had the big balls to stamp up, yep, it was me, Paul. It won't happen again. I get you where you're coming from. You want to leave it at the door. Everyone is welcome. That would have been the end of it. But no, like this and the Holy Vehm, people bring their agendas. You can join the Vehm, great. You have to be pure-blooded, whatever that means, born in Germany or whatever. Sounds like something we know. And you have to be swear an oath of allegiance. Yeah, fair enough. But then people's agendas come in, right? I'm in power now. Boom. I'm marking him for trial. I will have him, we'll have her, and so on. That doesn't matter if you have the best intentions. Once you get people who don't respect you for what you believe in and bring their intentions to a group, it slowly rots from within. That's just, you know, my opinion, and that's just life, unfortunately. People don't want you to, you know what I mean? It's like I say, it's my channel and I want everyone to be welcomed, but unless they respect people like you, me, I'm not so bothered about me. I don't reply to people who are trolls anyway. But it's the, you know what I mean? And people talk about, oh, it's free press, it's freedom of speech. Isn't it funny you have freedom of speech when you want to slag people off? You know what I mean? And I never get it, you know what I mean? I've talked about, and this is not about that, but you know what I mean? You can see what I'm coming from, where you can have the best will in the world. You can set up a secret society. I could set up a fraternity and we could protect everyone. But then when you start involving other people, they can promise you all the world, but they have their own agenda. And again, their morals don't match your morals or what you deem right and wrong. Again, who am I to deem what is right and wrong? It's just for myself, my own judgment. And this is what happened to the Holy Vehm. They got infiltrated, I'm surmising, by other secret societies, and agendas and factions and things were put in place. And I believe they're still here today. Could it be, when we say celebrities are changing their faces, they're just actors, which means agents, and these people are just changing their identity? Or are they actually getting mullered, killed? And this organisation carries out this. This is just me theorising us and making this video. Could these things be being taken on board by this faction? And it could have a different name from that time period, or they could be called the same things. Who knows? Like I said, we're just talking. And again, I can see why people wanted to do this. But again, as I've said, when there's more than one and two become involved, three get involved, it's, oh, well, he and such are doing this, and I think we should be doing this. Really, I agree with you. And then you have factions within factions and cliques. Again, it's when humans are involved. You can have the best wish in the world, but it's funny that when you have the best wish and the will in the world, you always seem to get to violent abuse and trolling. So this video is me just showing you what I found. It's not in depth, it's just a little footnote of sorts, showing you the intriguing nature of this and asking the question, are they still here today? I mean, you had things not just being brought up in front of these tribunals, whether they were outside or inside. Can you imagine the feeling knowing that you're going to basically die? You're in the pitch dark, just lit by torches, middle of nowhere, and you're being held in front of a tribunal. You recognise some voices, and the witch hunt that's gone on, because yes, some people would have met what society in general will say that's a wrong-un, but we know from anything, people can lie, agendas can get crossed, or it can just be plainly just, you know, the colour of the skin of sorts. Who knows? But I had to highlight and show you this. And when you have things like going to the trial and you could pick between freeze a bird, basically you get hunted down. How many films have you seen of people being hunted for sport? And wondered, you know, who come up with that idea? Was it this, or has it always been there? We always feel like we're being hunted. And would you choose that? You know, how many times have you saw a film over? He's picked, you know, getting hunted, and he's turned the tables on the hunters. So we've seen all these things, and hence I put the running man in, because obviously these people were convicted, whether fairly or you know, it's been doctored, the evidence has been tampered with, blah blah, and they've convicted the wrong person. You know, you're gonna get killed, and I'll go for a hunt. So there's things like this. There was a trial by holding the iron rod while it was red in hand. If you didn't walk 9 paces with it, you deemed guilty. So it sounds like a witch trial type of thing. And then they went into torture. Again, start with the best will in the world. You then get a person who's a sociopath or a narcissist or really evil at heart, just love torturing people. Again, you then move into this, and again, factions create, you know, other factions. So you can see the point. And I just wanted to highlight and show you about this, that, hey, I found this. I found it intriguing. I'm going to share it with you. It says it got disbanded in 1811, which added to it in 11. So Bonaparte's brother disbanded it, so-called. We know it just goes into hiding like anything. And I thought, wow, that's in 11. And by then, what I basically found, that I said it was the wow. Holy Vehm, anagrams near enough to Elohim, but obviously with a H-Y-M. And I went, wow, because I don't know how. I just sit there and I'm writing down on my pad. I can show you the writing. It's mixed and it's got different notes from different videos, but you can see at the bottom there, the Holy Vehm, and I just crossed it over. And I do that with most words, because as you know, I found reading and writing hard. So I like to do these things to see how my brain works and what I can find may be different. So I'm looking and I see the Holy Vehm. I think, wow, it's got L in it. Elohim. I'm like, wow. So they believe they are, could it be the fact that they believe they are divine? Again, it sounds like the Cabal, the Elites, because as you know, it started off with just 3 commoners, then went into lords and dukes. As you can just see how it changed. And we're in the system now is when you look at the tarot cards of judgment, why did it have the red cross on it? You know, it could have had any flag, but it had the red cross. And you're like, wow. I've done in videos showing you the red cross. Is an 11, or is it just male and female aspect? We live in the realm of 11. Do we live in the realm of male and female? Positive, negative, duality. And that's just what gets me. That excited me. Looking at the Holy Vehm, and I'm like, wow, Elohim, but it was him as a song. I'm like, wow, is it just me saw that, or is there anyone out there who has spelled Elohim that way? And again, I'm not an expert, don't pretend to be. You know, I struggle with a lot of things because I'm only human. But when I found that, I went, my jaw dropped. I'm like, let me have a look. So straight away, I'm halfway through the video, just basically showing you the aspects of what I did. Wow, so the Red Cross, 11 of Vehm, Elohim, God divine. Finding out that someone's talked about it in the female and male aspect of being both genders. I'm like, could that be why the divine aspect? Because I don't know who that person was. So, you know, thank you for the information, putting it for where anyone can find it. And it's, again, we're not here to say this is fact. I'm not. I'm just putting another perspective over. Could the Holy Vehm, and obviously the name Vehm meant punishment and come from hidden justice, could that be what they basically do? Hidden justice from the divine, Elohim, 11 of him and her, forming the divine. And it's funny that it disbanded in 1811. And I'm like, wow, that adds up to 11. So the 11 got disbanded in an 11 and went underground. So what do you guys think? Do you think I'm onto something? Do you think this secret society, if you can call it a secret society, a secret fraternal organisation, did it start off with good intentions? Or do you believe it was just always evil? Do you believe it's still there today, dealing out secret punishment? I'll leave that up for you. I'm just fascinated by these topics. Again, I didn't know about this, and seeing it in a TV episode, then finding out it's real, and then you're delving in, oh wow, what else can I find? Looking at the name Holy Vehm, that sounds familiar. Holy Vehm, Elohim. That can't be a coincidence. And then I'm like, whoa, I want to tell people. I'm like, no, don't, Paul. What's the point making content if you're going to tell people what the main point is before? So I've really held my tongue this time, no pun intended, to show people, wow, could this be this? And that's why I get excited. This is what I miss. I don't miss the drama. I just want people to be able to come, sit down, watch what I'm saying, talk to each other, and just have an open debate. Oh, I don't believe that, but I believe this. Yeah, I can see your point, but, you know, where's that gone in society? We're our own judges, and we are not giving people the benefit sometimes of a different opinion. We all seem to get triggered because of the spells. And this is talking about the Holy Vehm, and now we're seeing that Elohim is connected to divine, a God's name, male and female. What do you guys think? That blew me away. I'm so excited. I will premiere this, and I'll see you in the chat. So again, thank you guys. Please, thankful for the support, because I do need it. I'm being poo-tubed. I'm not hardly growing. They're just not putting the subs up. Yet people are telling me that, you know, they are passing me word on, and I see it. So guys, please, I need your support. Please like it. Please just tell people there's something here different. You might like it, you might not. You might not disagree, but you can just see how open I am with the videos. That's what I found. What do you guys think? So that's just how I am. So guys, thank you for the support. Really means a lot, especially in these times when we don't have enough positivity. I'm trying to show you like a negative type of video in the sense of it's talking about death and punishment, but I just wanted to put a positive spin on it, if you can, because it's still intriguing to me, whether that's because I'm a macabre nature, I don't know, but I find things fascinating in his story. And when you see it in a modern episode, and you think, wow, he's talking about the Holy Vehm, do they exist? And now you think, wow, if they existed, are they still here? Have they crossed over to another name? Are they dealing out their justice? Are they back to being for the people, or has it evolved into being controlled by the cabal? These things are open for debate. And again, I can't do this without you guys taking precious time out of your day to support me, liking the stuff, leaving a comment, buy me a coffee. All that just means a lot, guys. And I want the channel to grow, but grow on its merits and organically, you know what I mean? I don't want it to be like you see some channels going from 10,000 to 100,000 and 50,000 and 60,000. It's like, where's this coming from? So guys, please just be yourselves, enjoy the video, see what you think of the WoW, how it basically is it coincidence that the Judgment Tarot is got that flag on, who knows. So see in the chat. Please like, share and subscribe. Definitely share it, but only if you enjoy it. And thank you for anyone who does go on to donate. Donate means a lot to me, guys. Let's see what happens from this premiere. Take care, guys. Always wear a smile. Remember, don't let the bar stools grind us down. It's hard. Life is hard. But if we don't have someone to lean on, life can be very, very bad. But hey, we're here. Dun, dun, dun. So guys, just smile. Really does help. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you in the chat. Hit the like. Bye guys.